Verzeo, your one-stop solution to everything learning.
Okay, great. So let's start without any further ado. It's Ajay Billav here, and I take care of operations part in Verzeo. And welcome all for today's session, today's online webinar program. Yep, let's proceed with the. Initially, I was going ahead with the introduction part. As you know, the topic name is Introduction to Data Science and Machine Learning. And today's speaker, let me introduce her in this session. Ekta Shah, she had completed her MTech in Data Science at NMIMS. And after that, she is currently serving in Quantiphi as a senior machine learning engineer. And she has a good hold in machine learning concepts, artificial intelligence, and data science and big data related things. And she had completed many projects related to those topics also. I would like to heartily welcome Ekta Shah in this session. And yeah, I think you guys can utilize this platform to get your doubts or else get your understanding better on data science and machine learning or your technical concepts. She'll be the best person to answer you all and make you understand in depth what exactly that you are looking for. Let me not take much time of yours. Quickly handing it over to Ekta. Yeah, the platform is yours. You can proceed. And thank you so much again for joining Ekta. And thank you all guys. So you can interact with the mentor, whatever doubts or whatever thing that you have over a chat. Let's keep this session as interactive as possible. Thank you so much.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Am I audible? Just reply with a yes or a no on the chat window so that it's clear to me. Okay. Thank you so much. So yes, thank you for the introduction. Good evening to everyone. And we'll be starting with the session. Just a second. Give me a moment. I think my network was just wavering. So I just checked on. I'll just share my screen. Let me know if it's visible. Also, yeah, you can post your questions on the chat window by the time we go through the session. So what we'll do is I'll take roughly about 25 to 30 minutes talking about the topic today. And then what we'll do is we'll take up all your questions that you have. So we'll try to keep it interactive as much as possible. So let's not just keep it like a boring monologue. Let's try to keep it as an interactive session. So that will help you, right, to understand things. So that's what our goal is for today. So what we'll be talking about today is going to be about introduction to data science and machine learning. So how many of you guys are actually aware about what data science is or what ML is? Anyone can just put it on the chat window, or if you know what data science is or what ML is, you can, really talk about it. You can unmute yourself and talk. Like you can just raise your hand and then we can. Okay, do we have the raise your hand feature over here? Just a second. Let me just check it. Okay, yes. Go ahead, Kashif. You can say what do you know about what is data science and what is ML according to you. You can. Okay, so people are responding on the chat window. So you're saying that it's a new oil for solving problems. And someone says machine learning is used to create face recognition apps. So yeah, this is pretty interesting to know about the different applications that you all are really talking about. So new oil, data is the new oil more than data science being the new oil. Solving problems, yes, we are trying to solve a lot of problems with the help of data. Then what we are saying is data, Shubhanshu says data science and ML is a part of AI. Yes, there is some or the other kind of relationship with the entire terminology that we have of AI. Yes, that is correct. So I can see that everyone has some or the other, opinions to give about what data science is or what ML is. Now, Dhanush says ML is making the machine to learn about the data and solve it. Exactly. Yes. You are trying to teach your system or your machine things about data and you are asking it to solve certain problems, you're right. Then Teja says use the data group to manipulate the data. Okay, yeah, using data. Then Shivam says data science is used to simplify huge data generated over internet. More than simplify, it is a lot about extracting insights, extracting important information from the data. So yeah, we'll have a look at what it is all about shortly. So let's have a look at the very formal definitions and the formal things around it. So first things first, let's look at the agenda that we are going to try to cover. First is the data science terminology, different terms which are used in data science and how they are interlinked. That is your data science terminology. Next up is the different applications which are a part of your data science field. That is all about your different applications that you would see all around you and things that keep on, modifying, changing over here to, get to the level of applications that you're seeing around. Then about the process flow. So there is a particular data science life cycle that is followed in the world today for any kind of a problem that you're trying to solve. So that is the process flow that we'll try to cover. Next up is going to be a business problem. It's going to be a sample use case, and that will tell you about how to go about solving a particular problem. The next is the journey ahead, like what all you can, do with data science, what all you as students can pursue, and what is the scope of it specifically in terms of work in India. That is what we'll talk about. So as you can see, this entire pictorial representation, what do you really understand from this? So what is it that you understand from this? The girl is saying that you're dropping your numbers, and the guy says, "No worry, hun. I have so many of them. I'm a data scientist." So this is a very famous quote that you would have read or you would have come across in the newspaper or everywhere around you. That data scientist is the sexiest job of the 21st century. That is trying to make some of the other kind of sense from the data that you try to collect and what all you can majorly do with it. That's what is all about this entire perspective of data scientist being the sexiest job in the 21st century. Now, this guy is talking about numbers. Like there are a lot of numbers that he deals with on a day-to-day basis. So if you see in his left hand, he has this data file, which is consisting of a lot of data. Now, this girl is saying that you're dropping your numbers. It's just like a funny reference over here. So the data scientist is supposed to deal with numbers on a day-to-day basis with whatever task he does. So that's why this cartoon is very representative of the work that we as data scientists do day in, day out. That is working around numbers, trying to extract insights from numbers, dealing with numbers day in, day out. So everywhere that you look around, you'll just see numbers. So that's what is the basic idea behind this cartoon, that you're trying to get some kind of information out of these numbers which are all around you. So now we know a bit about what data science is, right? So data science is majorly like going to be a combination of all of these three skill sets that you see, or three bubbles that you see all around you. Now these are three bubbles which in some part of your bachelor's or your whatever kind of course that you pursue till now, say bachelor's or master's or whatever is your education right now, you will see that there'll be some or the other kind of composition that you will see here. That is, on the left hand side you have this bubble of computer science. So this is the first major skill set that you need to build yourself on. That is to have some idea on the computer science subjects, some idea about the different kind of programming languages that are existing. So it may be Python, it may be R, it may be SAS. You need to have some kind of a strong holding on at least one of the programming languages. So your other basic skills will usually revolve around, say, OS, networking, and many other such fields, like which are a part of your computer science framework. So that is what you will cover on your computer science bubble. Then on the next bubble on the right hand side, what you have is your maths and statistics. So your maths and statistics consists of your 10th and 12th standard maths, where you'll cover your basic central tendencies, then you'll cover distributions, then you'll cover your probability. All of that you'll cover over here will be under your maths and statistics bubble. And then comes your third bubble, which is referring to the business or domain expertise. Now, business or domain expertise is something that is not, learned through your course. It is something that you gain as a part of your corporate work. So as and when you'll, work in the industry, with different projects on different use cases across the different domains, you will be gaining some of the other business or domain expertise along with your journey. So that is not something that you are expected to be prepared on. This is something that you gain as a part of your work and the different assignments and different projects you come across. So now you'll see that the intersection of each of these skills is a different concept. Like when you intersect computer science with maths and statistics, you get something that is called as machine learning. Now, someone had very well defined machine learning in the chat window. That is, you are giving the ability to your electronic devices, that is your computers, learn something out of the data. That is exactly what is machine learning. So that becomes your first intersection. Then comes next up is when you combine your maths and statistics and your business and domain expertise. That is your data analyst. Now, analysts as a profession and as a role has been sticking around in this world from a very, very long time. So specifically on the finance side of the work, that is, be it in the stock market, be it in your insurance companies, be it in your banks, you've always had some or the other kind of data analysts who are going to be working around, going to come up with resolutions to problems, come up with insights from the data that we have. So data analysis is like an intersection of maths plus business and domain expertise. Now, the next thing that you see on the left-hand side, that is a combination of computer science and business or domain expertise. That is what is your traditional software engineering. So your SDE roles, software development engineer roles that you see all across the industry today are exactly this. That is, you come prepared with your computer science knowledge from your colleges, and as and when you work as a part of the corporates, you gain business or domain expertise. So when these two mix up, that is what forms your SDE roles. Now, the major amalgamation that you see at the center, the very center of this, is your data science, which is going to mix up all of these three bubbles and the intersection of all of these three categories. So data science is a combination of using all of these techniques to really solve problems. So you now have a good idea about what kind of skill sets are at least required for the data science. In computer science, there is one more specific mention that needs to be done, which is about database, and that is about your SQL, right? SQL is something that all of us are aware of, right? Or somewhere or the other, we would have come across SQL as a language for databases if you're associated with computer science. And if you're not, then you would know something about Excel as a tool. So Excel also uses database. So that is the tool which will allow you to store data and also allow you to play with it. That is another major skill set that you require from your computer science end. So these are your three bubbles that you need to be very well aware of. Moving forward, let's look at the very formal definition that we have of data science. So the very formal definition is as follows. Like, data science is an interdisciplinary field that uses scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge and insights from structured and unstructured data. What this is indicating at is using certain processes, like a certain set of steps, a certain set of algorithms and systems to extract some kind of insight. So when you say insights, often you are given a bar chart, a pie chart in school, right? And you're asked certain questions below it. This is exactly like extracting insights. So that is what you're trying to do, but on a larger scale. So when you say structured data majorly refers to tabular data. So tabular data is like data that you would, visualize on an Excel sheet, something that you might see as an XLSX file, as an XLS file, or as a CSV file. Those are all tabular data examples that you would see around you. In the financial world, you get to see a lot of tabular data. Then there is the next kind of data that you have, which is called as unstructured data. What is unstructured data? Whenever you see any kind of data that is having multimedia involved, say images, say audio, say video, say textual data, which is also represented in another multimedia form, then you will see that all of this falls under your unstructured data category. Now, why is this? Because it cannot be represented as a column and a row format. So that's why it is referred to as an unstructured data. We have big data technologies today, which will help you to, read and deal with unstructured data. Data science is related to data mining and big data. So yeah, until and unless you are able to fetch or mine the data correctly, you will not be able to perform any analysis or any kind of an operation on it. So you need to know exactly how to, fetch the data or mine the data in the correct sense. So that's why we're saying that data science is related to data mining and big data. Now, the term data scientist was coined as recently as 2008, when companies realized the need for data professionals who are skilled in organizing and analyzing massive amounts of data. So when you have like a huge data source that has come into picture, now how do you think this data is actually getting generated? Now, why are we saying that 2008 was the year when data scientist as a term was coined? Because that's where your internet revolution went to the next level. So with Google coming into picture, with all your social media websites coming into picture, be it Twitter, be it Facebook, be it LinkedIn, be it Instagram, which came in later. But still, these all websites began generating a lot of data on a minute by minute basis. Be it your WhatsApp. So all your communication platforms, all your applications which are developed from the social interactive purpose are generating a huge amount of data. So when this is happening, we can say that we really want to make sense out of the huge chunk of data that we've actually gathered. So that's when we realized the potential of data and we started, running behind it. That is data being everything today. So this is how you would, define data science largely. Now, looking at the different kinds of data science applications that we have around the world today, these are some of the industries where you will see data science or ML application. Data science and ML as a terminology are used interchangeably often. Now, ML is a very smaller subset of data science, or machine learning is a smaller subset, because data science not only includes your ML or your AI or your text-based processing techniques, but it also includes your basic statistical descriptive analysis, prescriptive, and also predictive analytics. So you will see that these terms are used interchangeably. Now coming back to the applications part, now starting clockwise, we look at healthcare. Now in healthcare, say something like say medical image analysis, drug discovery, bioinformatics, virtual assistants. Now medical image analysis. Now according to whatever I can recall, in the past 2 years, in the COVID scenario, there were many molecular analysis, there were many virus level, structure level analysis that happened, and there was a lot of research that was taking place around that area. Now, all of those things which were really happening used ML algorithms, used AI algorithms, neural networks to really, get to the solutions, like classifying whether a particular virus is COVID or SARS-CoV-2 or no. That is one of the use cases that you would see where your image classification is being used, which is a very good example in the healthcare industry. So drug discovery, bioinformatics, wherein you might be trying to jumble up two drugs or trying to get some information around that. Now, virtual assistants. Now, virtual assistants are not only just limited to healthcare, but this is something that you'll see everywhere. Nowadays, every website that you go onto, you log onto, there'll be like a chatbot available at the right hand side of the window who say that, okay, hi, I am blah blah blah. I'll help you to solve your problem. I am here to assist you. All of those things are nothing but virtual assistants. They are robotic figures, virtual robotic figures, who are going to be talking to you and who are going to be assuming the role of a human and help you solve your problem. So that is what is virtual assistant. Now, next up, in your applications, you have your transport sector. So in your transport sector, you'll see different applications around you. One is self-driving cars, enhanced driving experience, car monitoring system, enhancing the safety of passengers. Now, autonomous vehicles, I think all of you guys who are like really looking forward to and follow different companies across the globe, you would know and hear, like you would have somewhere or the other like heard about Tesla. Now, Tesla is developing autonomous vehicle systems where there is the entire concept of self-driving. That is, you don't need to drive your car. The car will drive on its own. You just need to show it directions or guide it when it is confused or when it gets stuck. That's how self-driving cars have developed their own niche, and that's how they've developed their own place in this ecosystem where transport is being viewed as a very potential candidate in the entire system that we have. Next, what we have is finance. So in finance, you'll see that looking at the terminology over here, I'll give you a very basic example. We often get calls from credit card companies offering us that, kya ye credit card aap le loge? I have this feature, I have that feature to offer you on this credit card. Now, how do you get these calls? These are calls that get generated after marketing analytics is done on your profile. So what these banks do is they have information about you, be it demographic data, be it transactional data. So they try to club you all and try to cluster and try to group up different customers together. And that's how they, target customers, and they make up groups and they target particular people. And they say that, okay, this particular card that I've launched is, appealing to the millennial population. So now I'm going to figure out the millennial population who are going to be spending in this category and for whom this card is going to be beneficial, and I'm going to target them. I'll be sending out a list of the customers, and the customer care centers will call them and try to sell the card. So this is a very good example of, how they are trying to use analytics and how they're trying to use data science and ML to solve problems and to get a better customer reach, to get a wider market to sell their products. So different use cases that you see on the left hand side. I'm sure that e-commerce is something that all of us know. Like if you are trying to search for a particular product on Amazon, you often get a banner below which says that also recommended, which will show you all the products which Amazon would recommend to you on the basis of your search results. So that is your e-commerce sector, where identifying customers, recommending products, analyzing reviews. So you also get reviews, positive and negative ones on Amazon, right? Whenever you're trying to buy a product, you tend to look at reviews because those are your proofs on the basis of which you'll decide whether you want to buy the product or not. Next up is manufacturing. So anomaly detection in manufacturing is a major use case, where on the supply chain, like on the production line, you will see that there are systems which are built who are going to determine whether a particular part is erroneous or whether there is any fault in the entire product that has been developed. That is done by using images. So anomaly detection is a major use case. Entire monitoring system to make the entire system autonomous without any human help is another use case that you'll see, where the entire factory which is producing a certain product is going to be monitored by a system. That is a very good example in the manufacturing industry. The next what you have is banking. Now, banking as a whole, as a domain, you'll see that fraud detection. You often get messages if you are trying to transact with your cards at all times. So that is a very good example of fraud detection, where they're trying to leverage some models and try to leverage data to help you to solve problems and help you from not falling into trouble. So these are some of the data science applications that you would see day in, day out in your life. It's just like a glimpse of some of the applications. There are way many more applications than this. Now let's look at the next step, that is our data science life cycle. Starting clockwise, this is how we'll progress. That is from your business understanding to your data visualization. The first step usually that is involved in the data science life cycle is business understanding. Because you need to ask relevant questions and define your objectives for the problem very clearly. Whatever problem you're trying to develop a system for. Say for example, I want to develop a weather prediction system. Say I want to predict the weather for my city for the next 10 days. Now I want to develop such a system. Now my first task or first step is going to be about business understanding. So when we talk about business understanding, what we are saying is please ask relevant questions. So since we'll require data, right? Machine learning uses historical data to really learn from the patterns and get to the predictions or get to the kind of outputs that you would look forward. Whenever that's the case, you would want to ask relevant questions like, where can I fetch the data from? What is the kind of output that we are looking for? What are the number of days of historical data that we have? There's something on those lines. So asking relevant questions is your first thing, that is about business understanding. Next up, as a step, is data mining. So gather and scrape the data necessary for the project. So our state level websites contain some information on the annual rainfall, annual weather, etc. So you can fetch this data from your government websites and really use that in your entire prediction that you're working on. Next is data cleaning. So whatever data you will fetch from your multiple data sources, it's not going to be clean. It will be present in a very haphazard manner. So what you will really have to do is you'll have to sit and ensure that all the data is filled up. There is no data that is missing. And next, that the data has to be clean. That is, it has to be in a particular format. It can't be having null values. It can't be having missing values. It can't be having any kind of values which are garbage values. So that is what you need to ensure while you're doing data cleaning. After that, your next step is going to be data exploration. So the more you dig into the data, the more information you get. So try to form some of the other kind of hypothesis about your defined problem, visually analyzing the data. So by looking at graphs and charts, you can, do your data exploration part. Next up as a step is going to be feature engineering. So feature engineering refers to the aspect of selecting important features and constructing more meaningful ones using the raw data that you have. So creating a feature, like say you have the date of birth of the different candidates. If you want to calculate the age, that is something that you can do via programs. You can create a new feature which is called as age by subtracting the dates between today and the date of birth, and that will give you the age. I'm just giving you an example of how we create features which will help you in your programming aspect and in your modeling aspect as well. Now, after you're done with feature engineering, your next step is going to be about predictive modeling. This is exactly where you will develop your machine learning models, evaluate their performance, and also then look at the predictions, whether they are in line with the expectations or not. The next or the final step is usually data visualization. So whenever we talk about data visualizations, the upper management and the higher level subordinates that you have in your company are always going to look at some of the other reports. They are not going to be able to understand your technical terminology and technical aspects. So until and unless you are able to put in your outputs in the form of a graph or a plot or a chart, it is of no use. So that's why data visualization is your last and final step. So the reports that you produce are going to be your data visualization step. Now, this is a basic idea or an example of the kind of visual dashboards or visual charts that you can create to convey information and insights that you extract from data. So this is like a snapshot from one of the tools, which is called as Power BI. So there are different tools which are existing on the visualization side, like Tableau, Power BI, Python, Excel, which can be used to develop graphs and charts. So you can develop pretty good looking, colorful graphs, which will appeal to our users and which will make them interested all the time. So this is just, one of the ways in which you can create dashboards. Now coming up to a sample use case. Okay. So this is, just imagine that this is one of you. So now there is a lot of information that can be created about you and collected at one of the ends. So talking from a bank perspective, now we are going to develop a use case where we will decide whether the particular customer that has come to the bank should be granted a loan or not. For this use case, what we are doing is we are developing a model which will help you to, recommend or tell you whether this loan can be, given to this particular user or not. So here, the kind of information that we have as a business problem as a sample use case is this, starting from this particular cell, which is general data. So when we talk about general data, we have a lot of information over here about the person, like the name, the profession, the organization, the education of the person, the age, origin, city. So these are all normal information that a bank collects from the user when he's either opening a bank account or dealing with certain financial instrument with the bank. When you talk about school admission, like what is the different parameters or attributes over here, like the age, test score, academic performance, interview performance. Similarly, you would have information about the job application, like the kind of experience a person has, the projects he's worked on, the interview performance, the stability in the sense that how many years a particular person has lived in or stayed at a particular place or worked at a particular place. Then you have your bank loan application where you'll have all your information related to your transactions, like your credit history, your income, your existing loans, if any, then the balance that is carried forward. Then also information about the insurance, like about your dependents, your medical history, test reports, your smoker, non-smoker. So these are all the different categories which will help you to identify. Then what you have on the retail store visits, like if you're visiting something like say Big Bazaar, you're visiting D-Mart, so you'll get all the information from there, that number of visits per month, revenue, category of products, response to promotions, level of satisfaction. So these are like just some of the categories that you can see, in terms of the data points that we have for a particular user. So this is a wide variety of data that we have. Say our use case is about, should we give the customer a loan or no? This is our basic criteria over here. So it is a classification problem. Now, why is it a classification problem? So in ML, in machine learning, you have two different categories. That is, you either predict a continuous value or you predict a discrete value. So here it's only two options, yes or no, whether the customer should be given a loan or no. So it's discrete values, that's why it's a classification problem. So here the next step would be that you already have the data. Now what you have to do is you want to do some kind of feature engineering to see what kind of credit score you can calculate for the person. Then you will integrate the data from multiple sources. You'll have to do some kind of a feature scaling to bring all the data to a certain level. Then you'll have to go ahead with model building. And that is where you apply your ML algorithms to build up a model, which is going to be able to predict and tell you whether the customer should be given a loan or not. Then next, what you have is performance measures, wherein you'll try to, use certain metrics like accuracy score for measuring whether the performance that your model is giving you is up to the mark or no. That is your performance measure. Next, what you have is predictions. So once the performance measures are really validated with your model, you will go ahead and check your predictions, how well your predictions are or how well they're really faring out. So this is how you really go about building a model for this particular problem, which is about whether the customer should be given a loan or not. So if you follow these particular steps, you will be able to arrive at the answer about what you're looking for. That is how you would build up a system which is going to be able to predict whether a loan should be given to a customer or not. Last but not the least, so journey ahead. That is what is there in store for you as students over here in data science. So currently in India, data scientist is the most sought out career option. What you will need to do on the upskilling side is that you will need to make yourself equipped on these topics, that is machine learning, AI, NLP, which is text-based analysis, IoT, etc. The main task that you need to do is get your basics clear. That is your numero uno task. That is to get your basics clear. Then what you have is solve complex problems. So once your basic fundamentals are clear on all of these subjects, you should be able to solve any kind of complex problems that come your way. Now, data science problems are usually pretty complex. They are not something that can, be kicked out or can be done out in a day or something. It requires time. It requires some kind of commitment to the work that you're trying to do, and develop new technology to simplify human work. So what we are trying to do with data science is we are trying to automate a lot of usual tasks that we have in the day-to-day life on a day-to-day basis. So that is what is all about developing new technology. Now, throwing some light on the job space that we have in the data science field, there are a lot of jobs that are available in the country today. We are in the preparatory and building up stage in data science today. As a country, we have not completely matured in the data science space. All the industries are currently trying to figure their way out in the data science industry. So hence there is a lot of demand for the skill set, especially after the entire COVID scenario that we've gone through. So there is a huge boom in this space, in the tech space, and especially in the data science space or AI space that you can talk about. We have a lot of movement around the different kind of applications that are being developed, a lot of research also going on in this field. So there are a lot of ample number of job opportunities. But the problem is that there is a big gap between the demand and the supply. So there is a huge demand, but the supply that is there, like the data scientists who are getting ready to look out for jobs in the industry, are not industry ready. That is, there is a gap in the skill set. People do not focus on the right things whenever they are trying to get into the data science field. So that is a bit of a problem that we are facing in the industry today. So yeah, this is pretty much about the job space that is there over here. And I think this is where I will end. We will open the floor for any questions, if there are any questions. There are some questions on the chat window that I can already see. I will answer them first. Till that time, you can drop your questions on the chat window or raise your hand. We can, give you the capability to unmute, and then you can ask your questions. So I will start answering the questions one after the other. So Subham has asked, ma'am, how far is MS in ML or AI worthy for securing a good job in this field? Can you please suggest some good courses for machine learning in MS? So when you say MS, there are two ways or two possibilities largely. That is, you either want to pursue your master's in India or you want to pursue your master's abroad. So if you want to pursue your masters abroad also, there is no harm in that. Like there is no problem with that. There are a lot of ample opportunities available abroad and even in India for pursuing data science. Uh, Whoever speaking, can you just mute yourself? Yeah. So there are a lot of courses in all your Ivy League colleges. They are offering you data science courses and ML and AI courses. Any course that you really apply for your masters abroad is fine. You just need to check that it's able to, complete and really do all the tick marks on the basics and fundamentals in its syllabus. So as far as you focus on that, everything should be all right in terms of picking up a course. So my recommendations, abroad, I'm not particularly aware of any particular course that I could recommend. I have seen a lot of courses and their syllabuses, and pretty much they are the same. But in India, if you really want to pursue a course with data science from the technical aspect, then we have a lot of IITs offering courses today. So the IIT courses are pretty much well versed in the sense that they are covering a good aspect of data science. So be it your IIT Delhi, IIT Gandhinagar, IIT Madras, they're offering you really good courses on data science. So you can really go ahead with that. Next is Subhanshu, who's asking, ma'am, where can I practice problems of data science? So there are a lot of portals available. Like if you go to Kaggle, Kaggle, kaggle.com, or say Analytics Vidya or Analytics India magazine, they have their own portals, websites, and which are providing you the platform for practicing data science problems. They have a lot of recent problems, a lot of challenging data sets on which you can work on. So if you want to practice, these are the best platforms to work on. Next is Sagubilli Suresh is asking, for data cleaning, which tool is used, Pandas or SQL? Pandas is used majorly. Satvik is asking, ma'am, for the beginners, how to start with ML. So if you want to really start with ML in a very niche way, like from the very beginning, then I would suggest that you start with a programming language, then go to databases, and then go ahead with any course that is teaching you ML. There are many YouTube channels also offering you ML courses today for free, and they are giving really good qualitative content. So you can go through that also. There are no recommendations specifically. You Google for YouTube videos on ML, and you'll be able to get a good understanding of which courses you should be following. Aradhya is asking, ma'am, I'm a first year BTech student. Currently, can you guide me what all should I do to secure a good placement? So if you really want to get into the data science field, then for that aspect, you should really focus on the major skill sets, as I told you. That is, first of all, you need to be really well aware about Python or R or SAS, which is your programming skill. Then databases is something that will be covered as a part of your curriculum. I think if you are BTech student, so third or fourth semester, you will get SQL or database as a part of your syllabus. That is something that you need to focus on. Then you need to also focus on developing good projects. So that will get you a good placement. Vinay is asking, where could we get data to work on projects? I've answered this question on Kaggle. That's a very good idea to look at projects. Vaishnavi is asking, will MBA benefit data science in any way? So I'm not pretty much clear with your question. Like, MBA benefit data science in the sense, are you trying to say that you want to do an MBA course after your bachelor's, and are you asking that will that help? Then MBA is not for data science. So the specialist course that you choose in MBA, like MBA in HR, MBA in analytics, MBA in whatever your field is, whatever you choose, that is going to define how your managerial role is going to come up to. So MBA in data science, if there is a course like MBA in data science, that might help. But MBA is usually working on the surface level in terms of tech. They are more on the functional and business side. Venkatesh asks, ma'am, how to learn ML? I've already covered this question. Donepali asks, how can we do projects, ma'am? So projects are something that, you can get through different websites and stuff where you'll see Kaggle, which is the best platform to do projects and get to, work around real life problems. Himanshu asks, which will be easy, SDE versus ML engineer? So there is no easy way out in life. Okay. Both of them have their own challenges. You choose where your interest lies. Look at the different applications. Look at where you'll be standing after SDE or MLE, and that's how you analyze what is the kind of field you really want to go in. Subham asks, so ma'am, MS in data science or business analysis or ML are any different? They are very different. Business analyst as a role is very different from a machine learning engineer or a data scientist. MLE or data scientists are going to work more on the technical side, whereas business analysts are going to work more on the functional side. So it's a very big difference in terms of technical and functional aspect. Madam, which platform is best for hardware? Hardware in the sense, I did not get your question. Can you please be more clear, Jaswita? Dhruv is asking, can you please type the courses in chat box? Courses are not something that I recommend as such, but I only recommend one course to everyone. If they are asking about ML, and it's the ML course on Coursera by Andrew NG. I'm typing that on the chat window. Andrew NG. The spelling is wrong. This is what it is. For ML, which platform is best? Platform wise, we can say Python is the best to experiment with ML. Yuvan says, ma'am, currently I'm in third year. I have a very big interest in the field of data science, ma'am, but I don't know how to move further, where to learn, learning path, etc. Can you please guide me? What should I learn? Where should I learn? Any free courses available or budget friendly courses available, ma'am? If I start now, how long will it take for me to get strong in data science, or at least be 70% strong in data science field, ma'am? Do please guide. So I've already laid down the paths that you need to follow. That is, try to get a strong hand holding on your various subjects that you learn as a part of your computer science or IT fields. Then go on to learning different types of programming methodologies, then go on to analysis, statistics, and then move on towards learning machine learning. That will help you to go on the right path. And also when we talk about courses, try to follow Coursera. Coursera has really good courses. Learning path is something that you'll see and it's available freely on Google also. So try to Google and you'll be able to, search out for the best paths. Mudassir asks, what are the specific algorithms used nowadays in industry to make models in machine learning? I have been working in the machine learning and the deep learning and AI space for the past 4 years. And what I see as specific algorithms is that we are using a lot of neural networks and deep learning today. So that is what is being used in terms of specific algorithms. So neural networks is what is used. Mulkala is asking, ma'am, which platform is best in software engineering that is hard and having high packages? Which platform is best? I did not get your question. What is hard and having high packages? Now, high packages is something that is totally subjective, something that is totally up to you as to how well you're able to perform in the interview and how you're able to crack it and what kind of job roles you apply for. So it is totally dependent on that. There is no platform that is best as such today in software engineering. It's more like a full stack role where you need to know anything and everything in software engineering. Esther asks, ma'am, can you name some courses? Yeah, I've already named that. On which algorithm we should focus nowadays as per industry requirement? There is no particular algorithm. You need to know everything in ML because the requirement could be anything or everything. Prajakta asks, can you name some YouTube channel for DS and ML? So I personally don't follow a lot of channels, but I look at lectures from the MIT college or Massachusetts college MIT that we have in US at Boston. I follow their lectures, and I also what else do I follow on YouTube? You can also look at StatQuest, which is one of my favorite channels for DS and ML. So StatQuest and MIT lectures is what I usually follow. How SQL is used in data analysis. So SQL helps you to fetch the data and helps you to, really look at data from a aggregated perspective, from different perspectives. So SQL will help you a lot. Which coding language is best to learn, ma'am? Python is best. SQL and PLSQL same? No, it's not same. There is a lot of difference between SQL and PLSQL. Okay, ma'am, even type the project site. Site is Kaggle. Ma'am, Andrew NG, it's also on YouTube. So you use Coursera or you use YouTube. Coursera has assignments also. So Coursera is the recommended one. Which profile pays better, data analyst or business analyst? Analysts in all are paying good if you have the skill set. So there is no such hierarchy as such that, okay, data analysts are paid better or business analysts. Ma'am, for better placement, which should I learn, DSA or data science? That is totally two different streams. DSA is data structure and analysis for your software development, whereas data science is for your data scientist or MLE role. So they're two completely different fields. So you need to decide where you need to go. Paravindan YK, will pandas be useful for analyzing large amount of data, or should we switch to any data quality tool? No, pandas is good enough. Don't worry. Dhana asks, machine learning and security, any connection in between them? So machine learning and security. So when you talk about machine learning and security, so security will also have ML use cases within it. So there might be some use cases where you are trying to predict whether this person is a hacker or no, whether this particular transaction is secure or no. So you will see use cases for machine learning and security also. What is most important thing to learn for development and backend? You need to know any programming language. So be it, say, you want to go in SD roles or data science, the important thing is going to be learning about programming. Now I have one last question from Kundam. You are from EC branch. What can you focus on more? So I have absolutely no, opinions on that. You can either go in data science or SD. Even ECE people go in data science. So there is no bias as such, but you can choose whichever field you want. So I think that pretty much answers all the questions. So I think I'm done from my side. Ajay, over to you.
Yep. Thank you so much, Ekta. Guys, I'm just running a poll over here. You can just fill it out. That would be a bit easy to understand how you have gone through the session. And till the time that you finish or that you complete, I'll be mentioning that these kind of sessions or these kind of programs that we conduct pretty often. You can stay tuned to us, and you can check out our programs also. And yeah, so you can go through the webinars that would be conducted every week. We usually conduct the one webinar either in one particular week or in consecutive 2 weeks. Okay, you can definitely watch it for better understanding and for better knowledge, because these are the premium webinars where you can get your doubts clarified and get your knowledge upgraded on the topic that you are looking for. Okay, so that would be the thing. Anything else, Ekta, that you want to mention?
I think if you want to really get into the data science field, then you can follow the right career path to really learn about it and then get into the field. That's the only recommendation that I would have.
Sure. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for attending. And that would be all for today. And we'll see you soon in the coming sessions. Thank you, Ekta, for your valuable time also, for sparing your 1 hour and giving a good session for the candidates. And yep, that's all from my end. It's Ajay Billa signing off.
Thank you. Visit Verzeo.com, subscribe to our channel to know more.